Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today, kind of a very exciting video. As you can see, I bought a new car. So for many of you that don't know, a few months ago, the reason my channel is dead is one, because of everything happening right now. And two, a few months ago, I got a new job. So I am now employed at a auto dealership selling cars. So I decided that I was doing decent, I would buy one for myself. So this is a 2016 Dodge Challenger 392 Hemi Scat Pack Shaker, long name. This has a 6.4 liter V8. And before all of you all ask, yes, I was a real man and I bought a manual. So this is the 6-speed manual, kind of a stiff clutch, we'll get into that later. So I was going to give you an overview of the car, just kind of, show you guys certain aspects that I like about it, and then we'll probably go on a little test drive and see how it runs. So stay tuned. So thing number one that I absolutely love about this car, the V8 engine. That's right. If you're going to buy a Challenger and you can't afford a V8, you can't afford a Challenger. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to be one of those plebs that says, you know, if you don't have a V8, you don't have a Challenger. Personally, for me, I would never buy a Challenger if I couldn't buy a V8. So that's part of the reason I spent a little bit more, by a little bit more I mean almost twice as much, and got a V8, because the sounds these things make is just unparalleled. And this has a 6.4 liter, so we're pushing 485 horsepower to the rear wheels, and I believe almost 400 foot-pounds of torque to the rear wheels. And a manual, that's interesting to manage, because this is, for those of you that don't know about me, my first stick-shift car. So this is going to be very, very interesting. I've owned this car a grand total of 2 or 3 days. I've never stalled it, I've never burnt the clutch, and I've never shifted into the wrong gear. For me, it's pretty easy to drive, but I have a lot of experience on the sim racing and stuff that I do, and it has this stick shift and a clutch. I'm not going to say that, you know, if you do it in the sim, you can do it in real life, but it definitely helps. It definitely helps. I mean, the size of this thing is phenomenal. You know, you've got your shaker hood, which was one of my requirements that I really wanted to have. You got your shaker decal there on the hood, and you got a big hole here. How awesome is that? So it's really cool. The only downside about having the shaker is that you cannot put a X-brace or a strut tower bar across, because this is in the way. But it's amazing. That's like being in the car and seeing this sticking out. It's just a completely different sensation. Another thing I love about this car is its aggressive styling. This thing looks like a weapon, dude. This thing looks like an absolute weapon. This is in the red line red. It's got a lot of metallic to it. A lot of metallic. With the Scat Pack package, you get your matte black filler cap with your spoiler and your stripes and stuff. You get your big rims, your big brakes. This one has the Brembos on it, the upgraded Brembos. Things are 6-piston in the front. And that front fascia, like, coming at you, I mean, this thing just looks like it's ready to destroy anything in its path. Thing number 2 I love about this car, it does not let you forget that you spent a lot of extra money to get this engine. It'd be by sound, badging, there's all sorts of little things in this car that it just does not let you forget that you spent the extra money to get that. And I mean, it's got in the shaker as well. It's got shaker embroidered on the seats. It's got shaker underneath the passenger air vent. You know, it's got shaker come up on the screen when you start the car up. It's just, I mean, this shaker option, new from the factory, was I believe $4,500. So I mean, they really made sure you felt like you were getting your money's worth out of that. So someone's playing their gospel music and it's getting very irritating in the background. But what I'm gonna do, another thing I love about this car is the red. This is beautiful. The seats are this red too, and I'll show you in a second. But this right here is just amazing to look at. And it's got the Alpine sound system too, which I'll get into in a minute. When you open the door, the window goes down a little bit to clear this roof line. And then when you close it, it goes back up. Just really nice interior in this car. Red stitching on the center here, which I'll show you. It's just really nice. You've got your sport pedals down here, you know, with your clutch, which is kind of stiff, but not terrible. Your parking brakes down here. I don't really appreciate that. I'd rather have it up here. And then this releases your parking brake. We're not going to pull that because I'll start rolling backwards. This door right here, you got your handle down here, so when you're in the car, you have to reach down here to pull it. Kind of gives it a sport feel rather than being up here. So, I'm sorry, I'm getting pissed off not because of the kind of music. I'm trying to film a freaking video and this is in the background. This is my only day off I get. So, downsides of having a job that makes a lot of money, you work 6 days a week. That's it, and you work like 12 hours a day. So you get irritable. But that's one thing that I love about the interior, just the color. I actually, no lie, had somebody, after I bought it at the dealership, while I was working, because I bought it from the dealership I worked at, so I got a discount. When I was working, I had a customer come up looking for a Challenger. He saw mine. I said I bought it. He goes, I'll buy it off of you right now for cash. And he offered to buy it from me, but I told him no, and they gave him like a really high price for it. But basically, that's one thing that I really like about this is this red interior. It's very soft to the touch. Okay, very gentle. With your red stitching here, so it all ties into the exterior really well. So now I'm going to give you a look at the seats and kind of some of the interior features of this car, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go on a little drive and see how it works. So as you can see in here, you've got your seat. It says shaker right here, black headrest. Well, you got your red seat. This is all leather, full leather, and it matches the exterior really well. Back seats are the same way, red in the middle with the black headrest. Over here you've got the same thing. And you got red stitching here in the center panel. That's like really nice. Full leather wrap steering wheel is heated as well, so in the winter, that's great. But what I really love most about the interior of this car, I have to say, besides seeing the 6-speed stick shift right here, is the cooled seats. This has ventilated, air-conditioned seats through these holes here. I work on a car lot, so I have to stand outside in 100-degree weather for about 9 hours a day. So when I get in this car, it's extremely refreshing. The air conditioning is kind of weak. I might just need to be recharged, but it's only got 8,000 miles on it, so I doubt it. But these seats are good. They did a good job with these ventilated seats. I like it. I can run it on low and be fine. So there's even more room, in there. I can, get even cooler. So now we're gonna come on. I'm gonna bring you inside, and we're gonna show you some stuff in here. Just about like the infotainment and stuff like that. So you guys are very loosely set in here. This is a small car to have a camera. But I'm going to show you one of my favorite things about this. Take a listen. Absolutely beautiful. It's just this sound that this thing makes. You don't get that in a V6. You just don't. And that's just barely giving it any. And then if you put it in sport, it gets a little bit louder. This thing, absolutely beautiful. One gripe, automatic windows are only for down, not up. But so this car has a few things. First thing you're gonna notice is this big old screen here. And what this is gonna do for you, you've got your media. It's kind of glaring, I can't do much about that. But you've got your Bluetooth, your auxiliary, USB, SD card, and that's just, your regular media. You also have a radio. You got your controls. Okay, so you've got your ventilated seat, heated steering wheel, your mirror dimmer. This will dim your mirror. It's power dimming mirror. You can also turn the screen off, or you can touch it again, turns it on. Okay. Passenger also has heated and ventilated seats. Or you can go into your settings, and now you've got all of this fun stuff that you can change. Very, very personalizable. That's not a word, I don't think. System. You can say display. You can set your theme, language, keyboard, control type. Like, just every screen has like 20 different options to it, and it's amazing. Air conditioning's pretty good. I've got it like on the lowest temperature, but I got the fan on the lowest setting. It's blowing nice and cold. And I've got my cooled seats on, so I'm pretty comfortable in here. You can see your vent. It says shaker down there. Okay, just like embroidered on the seats. And then when you start it up on the screen by the gauges, it says it. So down here is where a lot of your various functions are, okay? You can mute your volume by one push. You've got your sport mode, your hazards, the back button. You got your super track pack, which is your track apps. This scary button here, which I'm never going to use, at least not for a while. And then you've got your parking sensors off if you want that. And then your tuning knob for your radio down here. Otherwise, you've got your climate controls and your gear selector right here. Pretty clunky in a good way. The shifts, feedbacks, very like, the one thing I don't like is it's very easy to get into reverse here by accident. I've never done it, thank God, but I feel like when you're not moving, it's very easy, because I've never had an issue with accidentally going into reverse while I'm, driving, 70 down the highway. But very good. When you're in neutral, it doesn't wiggle a whole lot. You have to like actually put some effort into it. It does vibrate because of the V8. It's kind of cool. So good gear selector. Cup holders. So these little guys you see this little white ring around here. That's illuminated. That lights up when it's dark out. In fact, let me see if I can. You see it change just barely, but this is illuminated. Taking a look at the back seat, you can kind of see that they kind of match. There's okay room back there, but your passenger's probably going to be a little cramped, very cramped. The leg room's not great. In my driving position, you have, you know, but in someone else's, man, your legs are going to be a little squished. I actually had one guy, he wanted to buy one at the dealership a little bit ago. He said no because he didn't know there was almost no legroom back here. I was like, dude, it's a Challenger, man. Like, what are you thinking? You know? But there's that. Now over here on the driver's side, I'll show you some of the screens. So as far as stuff for the driver, you have your wheel, power adjustable, full power adjustable. You've got your screen here, and then you've got your speedometer and your RPM. If you notice, the speedometer goes to 180. This car won't do that. It'll do about 150, 160. From what I've heard, I haven't tried it myself because I'm not stupid. And then you've got your RPMs. And red line in this is about 6,000 RPM, but I would never really take it there. Maybe 5,000, 5,500. Just because this is a big V8. The higher you rev it, the more things are going to wear out. On the back here, almost like paddle shifters, my fingers are resting on them now, are your radio controls. You know, you've got 3 buttons per side. They all do different things. This side over here, towards the, and it's kind of mirrored, so this is towards the passenger, is your volume control, okay? And then over here is your, like, source control, AM, FM, stuff like that. You've got your screen. So you've got your speedometer. You've got your vehicle info. So you can get anything from tire pressure, coolant temperature, oil temperature, oil pressure, oil life, battery voltage, air intake temperature, torque, and engine power instant readouts. Under performance, you can get your, I'll go back to the beginning here, 0 to 60 timer, 0 to 100 timer, 1/8 of a mile timer, 1/4 of a mile timer, braking distance, current G-force, peak G-forces. Apparently in this car, someone pulled almost 1 G braking. That's kind of interesting. Lap timer, lap history, and your top speed. Now this was the last owner. I didn't do this. 145 miles per hour. Very interesting. Hope that was on a track. Let's be real, it probably wasn't. Fuel economy. So as you can see, I'm getting about 17.4 miles per gallon in this car. Not terrible, but not great. For what it is, I think it's fine. Trip info, you got trip A and trip B. Audio pulls up here. Messages come up there. And then you can do your screen setup there. So you got a lot of different info that can come up on this screen. I always keep it at the speedometer because I like to know exactly how fast I'm going, because I don't need to be speeding in this car. So there's your info for that. Other than that, you've got your cruise control and you've got your menu navigation. Your hands-free is down here, and these are blank, which tells me something is missing. This is probably for the Hellcat, honestly. That's what I'm thinking. Different like launch buttons and traction control buttons and stuff like that. So that's the basics on the interior. You have a glove box, not that big, not a lot of storage in this car. You know, full leather wrap steering wheel, very comfortable, easy to turn. You got your big horn button, like that, deep horn, and then you've got your 3-spoke design with a hole in the middle. I like how this is a hole in the middle because usually they make it solid and it just looks weird because there's just a big empty plastic space. Very comfortable wheel to hold and get used to. So there's that. Interesting thing about this car with your wipers, they're not over here. This only has one stock for everything, I guess because it's a manual and you don't want to hit the stick or something. So your wipers and your lights are on this, okay? Push it forward for high beams, pull it backwards to flash the high beams. That's really weird. Listen. Do you hear that? When you turn it on, you hear the car groan. That's really weird. You actually push this in like a button. This whole stick collapses in, and that's how you do your wiper fluid. So you can hit it like that, or you can push on it, and it'll do your wiper fluid washer for you. Otherwise, you got your twist for your headlights, and then you've got your toggle knob down here for the rest of your lights. So everything's centralized over here, which is nice because it's all in one place, and you don't have to fiddle with anything. Put this wheel up a little bit. So that's really all for like that I'm gonna show for the interior features. I mean, you do have climate control for your rear passengers, but while this car has many luxury features to talk about, none of them are all particularly exciting. It's got a good sound system in it. I mean, it's okay. It's kind of quiet. I probably need a better amp, but who needs music when you can hear that, right? So now I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing on a drive, see how it runs, and then do some final impressions. So this clutch is kind of stiff to hold in for a while. It's going to bounce quite a bit because these seats are very cushy. So I tell you, first stick shift car. This is in normal mode, full comfort. Third gear right now, doing about 23. I'm at about 1500 RPM. Gonna go through here. I'm gonna downshift in a second. Gently let the clutch out. This thing makes some good noises. Been about 45, I'm at 2000 RPM in fourth gear. I might upshift into fifth, but I like having a little bit of power at my disposal. It kills some gas mileage, but you see there's some drone, right? And if I go into, say, fifth, kills it immediately, right? No drone. So that's good. It's not like a loud, obnoxious car. But when you want it to be, it can be very loud. Very soft ride. The reason you're bouncing is because the seat is so cushy, and I don't have you strapped down with anything. But like, this is a very gentle ride. I'm gonna downshift. This guy's going slow. I'm gonna go around him. Are you ready? And that was just in like third or fourth gear to the floor. This thing just sounds great. I just love the noise that this thing makes, dude. Just a noise, it just begs you to keep the RPMs high, like as high as possible. I can't shift gears, you guys are falling. I'm gonna slow down and do a little bit of. There you guys go. That's 60. That is 60. That is 60. You guys, I can't pick you up. That was 60 miles an hour, right? From like 20, but still. Now you guys are in the way of my gear shift. Okay. crack the window a little bit so you can hear the noise that this thing makes. And be a good boy, stop all the way. And then... So that was from 20 to like 55. This car is insane, okay? 485 horsepower. This is crazy. And that's in regular mode. This is not in sport mode. Traction control's on. Comfort steering, comfort suspension, comfort engine settings, because the engine, there's different settings for it. Throttle response and all that. It's just crazy. See, speed is 35, I'm already doing 44, I didn't even know. This thing is like quiet enough in lower gears. I'm gonna get over and get behind someone that's driving slow so I actually don't get myself in trouble. This car's red, with a red interior. It's like double trouble right there. Oh, hey guys, you're back. I'm sorry you fell asleep on me there. Oh, this car's crazy, man. This is just, I did floor it, but I never floored it from first gear, okay? So, I'm not gonna do stuff crazy like that on a public street. Maybe in a parking lot somewhere, but never where, you know, somebody besides myself can get hurt. But that's the basics of what this car can do, and why I like it. It's just crazy. It's a crazy fun car. Just got to get used to driving a manual a little bit more, because I know on some of my starts I'm a little bit jittery. But yeah, that's about it. So if you guys like the video, don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button down below. Get notified of when I upload by hitting the bell, and leave a comment on what you want me to do with this car in the next video. So you guys have a great day, and as always, I will see you